sleeping. Nidra is common for everybody. We also sleep, animals also sleep. Very good. Ahara, Nidra. Two topics we covered. Aradhana. Okay. Aradhana will be there, but not to the animals. Defense. Very good. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya. Bhaya is what? Defense. Okay, very good. And there is one more letter, that which he told actually. Eating, yes. So there is a shloka from Mahabharata. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanye etat pashuvi naranam dharmo hi tesho adhiko vishesha dharme hi hina pashuvi saman. So there is a similarities between the human beings and animals, and there are four things are common. Three told by this Prabhu, and I think one told by Mataji, which is ahara. Ahara means eating, uta or bhojanam. Ahara, nidra, sleeping, bhaya, defense, and maithunam means when giving birth to the next generation. Samanya etat, samanya etat, saman means equal. Samanya etat, pashuvi and naranam. Pashu means animals, naram means human beings. So it is equal between the human beings and the animals, but there is a difference between the living and the human beings and the animals, and that is where Mahabharata says the last line, dharmo hi tesha adhiko vishesha dharme hi hina pashuvi saman. If there is no dharma for the living entities of the human beings, we are nothing but pashuvi saman, we are equal. Our founder Acharya says that if there is no dharma for the living or the human beings, we are nothing but two-legged, sophisticated IT animals. Unfortunately, maybe so possible. With the AI, ML, and many other things so together. So this is dharmehi hina pashubi saman. So if you have to summarize in these things, so you can see this acronym SEED. S as in Nidra, sleeping, E as in eating, E as in enjoyment, and D as in defending, Bhaya. But if we see, even the animals also sleep, and we also sleep. There could be some difference. The dogs or the cats may sleep on the road, but even today's dogs are also very sophisticated. The dogs also have their owner, and in fact they sleep in much better facilities than that. And we may sleep on the Karlan or something hi-fi things. But at the end, finally both are sleeping. Whether we are sleeping under the tree or on the road, or we are sleeping in the five-star hotel, does not matter. Finally it is a sleeping. Nidra, ahara, nidra. So Ita actually eating is not there. So enjoyment. So which animals also do, and that the other human beings also do. Defending. So even the animals also do, and we as the human beings also do. But if they see the similarities between the human beings and the animals, there must be some difference. We already discussed that. And what is the difference between the human beings and the animals? Dharma. Okay. Any other thought? Sorry?
Human can think for development.
Yes, human can think for the higher purpose, whereas the other cannot think. Some may think that we are only intelligence. Even the animals are very intelligent. You can see that when the owner is or the house owner is not there, or madam or who is in the kitchen, somebody is not there, cat will suddenly comes and she will drink milk and she will go away. So even the animals also have intelligence. So we cannot say the animals don't have intelligence. They also have, when we say distributed pamphlets, around 65,000 pamphlets, and all 22,000 were human beings. Nobody came that no program, because they cannot ask what is Bhagavad Gita and what is the purpose of life. They cannot ask why I am suffering in this material world. I have everything. I thought that if I come to Bangalore and get a job in IT, I will be the happiest person on this earth. I got everything, but there is something missing. That inquiry can be done only by for ability for the higher inquiry. B for bliss. We human beings looking for bliss for everything. see for a choice. We have a choice. Generally, the animals actually act instinctively. If you do something, they react, respond instinctively. Whereas the humans have a choice whether I should go to this ISKCON people program or not. There's always a choice. Instead of going to them, I think we have ACS Lab, such a fantastic place. And from this 60 feet road and the other main road, so many facilities to enjoy. We have to go spend there and hear from them and then see, get ourselves bored. So there's a choice. But still, you all of you actually chosen to come here. I think we should give one round of applause to all of you. And D for determination. If you see the human beings, once some of us determine that I must do that, they do that. When I was in engineering college, and I had a colleague who wanted to become IAS officer, no matter what happens. And some of you might know that how much it takes to become an IAS officer. Cracking IAS officer is not that easy. And he was working for 17 to 18 hours. And today, he actually became the IAS officer, and he's a chief secretary in Tripura government. So you can understand, human beings, if once determined, decided, they would actually do. But all these are only applicable to the human beings, A, B, C, D. So we saw that seed is common. So what was the seed common? Joy. Yes, as in sleeping, eating, enjoyment, defense. And the ABCD, what is the difference between the human beings and the animals are the A as in ability, B as in please, C as in choice, and D as in determination. If we have to give an example of that, this how the human beings or the human form of life is such a very special. If you do the tractor, the purpose of the tractor is to go to the field and do some plowing or some lifting work. Whereas the Mercedes car is meant to move the passenger from the place A to the place B. If some of us by mistake or not knowing that the purpose of the Mercedes is to run on the road, rather if somebody takes Mercedes and take to the field and trying to do for the plowing, will that be a very successful attempt? No. It will be a very frustrating attempt because Mercedes-Benz is not meant for plowing the field. Of course, if you can increase the power of the engine and you can have some extension, today's world we can do that. But in a kind of analogical way, we can say that definitely that the Mercedes-Benz has meant for some other purpose, the Mercedes car. So similarly, the life of the human beings is something higher purpose than just the animals that we have just now seen that. When we do all those things as a human beings, somehow we still feel that there is something missing in our life. Yes or no?
Yeah, always.
Always, Prabhu saying this, always. From Mataji said, do you think that? Yes. And that is the reason that, if you see from the childhood, we are told that if you get in a 10th standard, very good mark, your life will actually get settled. Poor child actually gets struggled. And then he is told that, no, this was just primary state. You get into the 10th, you'll be the happiest. Now after that we have JEE and then advanced JEE and then CET and so many things. Then somehow poor child gets cracked into that and then he says, my life is settled now. And after that, no, we have to get into IITs. And then our NETs, RECs or NITs and then triple IITs or some engineering college or maybe the medical, NEET and many other things. And then he goes through all that. It's like sometimes some of our people say it's like a sugarcane machine. So once it's put into that till the last drop, he's actually put that again and again and again and again. And then he get somehow successfully with the 8.5 or 9.5 CGPA successfully. Now he's looking for a job. Parents says, he calls them and says that Mummy, Papa, I got now a CGPA. Mummy, Papa says that is good. Now what about the job? The next is about job, and then the cycle continues. Even though we have everything, but still we feel that there is something missing. If you see ourselves and compare to our previous generation, and I can confidently say that at least those who are in Bangalore, we can say that the money that we have is much more and much more than our parents they were actually earning, right? How many of us agree to that? But what about the happiness that
They
they
are
were
most
really?
happy.
Huh?
They are most happy.
They are more happier and satisfied than. In fact, our income might have increased, say 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever the X time. Are we happy X times than them? Probably the divide by X. That could be the ratio of that happiness. Why? So what is that? We are trying to find that happiness. There is something missing in that. So whatever we do that, many of us may not be from Bangalore, from the different place, but we are leaving our parents, relatives, and coming all the way thousands and thousands of kilometers or hundreds of kilometers, and leaving our relatives, friends. But what is that actually the doing all these activities? There is one fundamental thing that we are looking for that. When we do every activity, there is something that we always look for. And what is that?
Happiness.
Happiness, right? Everything that we do, behind that, we always look for that happiness. What is that? Happiness. We think that if you see the billboard that if you purchase that, this the happiness is loaded. So if you get this, buy this home and you will become happy. Happiness is guaranteed, right? But we have to get the loan and rest of the life we pay the EMI. If you get this car, that you'll become the happiest persons on this, which is with all the facilities, with the ADAS and the all the different features that it has. And today, if you buy this bike, you become happy, and so many other things. Or you buy these clothes and dresses, you become happiest person on these things. So all these advertisements are actually there to tell us that this is the happiness that we are. And if any one of us actually go through that, but there is something still something that let us find out objective analysis of what we do to become more happy. So somebody says that the happiness is that what we look for that. But if we see behind that happiness, there are something called as the human needs. And that human needs, once it is fulfilled, we actually become satisfied. And what are those needs? Yeah. Anna Vasara Nivara, food, clothes, shelter. So there is something called as a physical need. If somebody is hungry, if we give him food, he'll become happy, he'll satisfied. If somebody is thirsty, and if you give him water, he'll definitely become very satisfied. Now, if we all keep you hungry for next couple of hours and don't give prasadam, you will not be happy. Next time the count will come half of this the count, right? So that is why. So what we have done to make you happy, that we have prasadam at the end of things. So don't worry. So physical need has also to be fulfilled. What is other than the physical need? Money. Psychological need. The psychological need is that the mental things. If somebody gets the promotions and job and good salary, we become very happy. Name, fame, psychological need. When this need is fulfilled, we become very happy. Then of course there is a emotional need to be somebody there to take care of us. Somebody there who can love us or we love somebody else. So these are the needs: physical need, emotional need, the psychological need. Even if we fulfill all those needs, then still there is a problem that you can see that there is still some problem. Sometimes we have frustration, we have loneliness. In July 22nd this year, I got a WhatsApp message, and this gentleman from some wonderful, I think one of the famous IT industry, and on the weekends, to avoid the loneliness, he actually drives the cab. Anxiety, depression, and finally, so people have everything in these things, whether the physical need, psychological need, and the emotional need. Still, there are many people who actually finally end their life. We know that many. We take the example. I was working for one multinational organization. The CEO was very, very highly intelligent, and one fine day, he was in Singapore and he jumped from the 10th floor, and we were actually shocked. How is that? So, and we know that in Bollywood, Hollywood, somewhere, everything this happens. That they had everything a common man actually would dream of having: money, name, fame, follower, their Instas and the WhatsApp, the Facebook, and their n number of followers for them. Sisi Gandharika Giridhari ki jai. But still, there is something missing. That, and what is that? So today we are looking for that. What is that actually? Something that we try to fulfill, which can give us the happiness which is like, I mean, gives us eternal happiness or long-term happiness. All those things we decided the physical need if you fulfill, will be very happy for some time. Again, after a few hours, the stomach will give a message that I am hungry again. So all those things. So there is something that this all happiness is there. There is nothing. We are not saying that there is no happiness, but this happiness is actually very temporary happiness. And if we are looking for something higher, what is that? So that is what we are trying to analyze that. Family, friends, fans, wealth, fame, and whatnot. Still, these people choose what on the right hand side is written, terminating or taking the extreme steps in their life. Imagine many of the people, they would not even know, they would not have so much of money in their life, name, fame, following, everything, but still finally they choose that, but there is something missing. And what is that missing is what we are actually focusing today. What is that missing? What do you think? Happiness, anyway, they are getting the happiness.
Peace.
Sorry?
Peace.
Peace. Okay, you are saying something?
Balance between
Balance between these things. Okay, wonderful.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction, contentment, purpose in a life, mission in a life,
connection with God.
connection to the God, spirituality, the spiritual need. And just like we have now, you see that we have IQ, EQ, and there is a SQ, the spiritual quotient. So even if we have everything fulfilled, but the real fulfillment come when we are actually spiritually connected. As Mataji Madam said that. So when we spiritually connect, so what is that missing is that the spiritual link that is missing between for all of us. If you see here, if we have fish, and if the fish is, if we take the fish out of water and give him, what is that? Rasgulla. Those are Bengali words. Rasgulla. So if you give Rasgulla to the fish, will the fish happy? The fish we have taken out of that. Okay, we'll give him samosa. Will that fish will be happy? If we give him gulab jamun, will he be happy? No. What is that the fish need? Water. And that is where actually he will be very happy. The spiritual needs. So similarly, for all of us, it is said that in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, Mamai amse jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shastani indriyani prakriti sthani karsate. Mamai amse jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. All the living entities are part and parcel of me. Lord is telling to Arjuna. All the living entities. Mamai amsha. Amsha means? Amsha. Part and parcel. Mama means mine. Mamai amsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Sanatana means eternal. All the times, all the living entities are part and parcel of me. Krishna is saying. So when we are the part and parcel of Krishna, that means we must be connected to. And how long? Only not in this lifespan, but eternally. And that is where, if you see, the Indian culture is not about Hindu or about the Indian culture is about Sanatan. Sanatan means eternity. Krishna is not talking about the people from Karnataka. Krishna is not talking about the people from Bangalore or only Aces left. He's saying Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, all the living entities, maybe the human beings, maybe the space, other species, maybe from other countries, maybe other planets, other universes. But all these are actually things, and that is where if we have everything, but the spiritual connection is not there, we actually feel the discontentment, dissatisfaction. Today we are very expert. We have n number of facilities to connect horizontal relationship, but what we miss is the vertical relation, and that vertical relation is the relationship with the Lord. And as soon as we connect with that vertical relation, all our other relation actually becomes very wonderful. So we may have education, we have wealth, all beauty, strength, fame, power, influence, designation. If we have 5, 7, 8 zeros, what is the value of this? Zeros. But if you add 1 to that, it has a meaning. Otherwise, it is nothing but srama eva hi kevalam. Srimad Bhagavatam says this is nothing but the srama eva hi kevalam. So what is that one? Spirituality. So that is not exactly. So what all we have to do is that bring the spirituality in our life. It is not that when we are practicing God consciousness or spirituality, we have to leave everything and go to the Himalayas and stay there. Of course, now our forest, today we do not have forest left now. Whatever the forest we already cut and whatever is left over, we are not close to that. And even if you go to the forest, our friend will not get the battery charging, will come back within 2 days or 24 hours, or will not get the signal also, definitely will come back. But what is meant is not that leaving everything, but we have to connect, not to leave everything, but we have to connect everything to connect to Krishna. So we have to bring our God, we have to bring God in our life. And that is all about bringing the spirituality in our life. If we see that just a touch up of spirituality. Now, what do you mean by spirituality? Spirituality means connecting to that higher things and serving Him. If you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Jivere Swarupa Hai Krishnera Nitya Das. We are the living entity. We are nothing but the part and parcel of Lord. And our nature is to serve something. Spirituality means serving. If you see in the human beings, we see that when we have given a call for that, we need a volunteers. 200 plus volunteers just came like that. Why? Because we understand, we know that when we serve someone, we become satisfied. Because the nature of the living entity is to serve. Either we serve our parent, we serve somebody, we have to serve someone. We serve boss or we serve somebody. The nature of the living entity is to serve. Now, to whom serve is the question. So, if you see that these some great personalities, they also engage into the philanthropic, social, and welfare or charitable activities. Why? They have everything. They have everything. But why? Because they know that the real satisfaction, the real contentment come when we actually serve. So serving cannot be taken away from the living entities. As long as we are a child, parents are serving, but when we become a grow, we have to serve our wife, we have to serve parents, our husband is serving wife is serving husband. We are confused, or we are serving our parents, we are serving boss, or even our prime minister also says that we are servant of Janta. Right? Everybody has to serve some or the other way. So the service cannot be taken away, but the service is the important aspect. The question is that to whom we are serving. So just by having a touch of spirituality, this great personalities gives so much of satisfaction and meaning, as he said, the meaning and the purpose in our life. What if just by practicing the basic aspect of the spiritual life, which is a selfless service and helping others, can give so much of satisfaction, so much of happiness in our life. Being free from pride, feeling compassion for other living entities. If such a basic stuff can give so much of satisfaction and happiness, can we imagine that we take this spirituality very seriously and go deep into that? Can we imagine the happiness that we can actually derive? And actually, when we practice spirituality, we don't have to look for the happiness. Happiness is a byproduct of that. When we serve parents or somebody, we do not look for getting happiness. Happiness is the byproduct of that. So similarly, when we practice spirituality, the happiness will, by default, it will actually come as a part of that spiritual need. So what we are saying here is that when there is a physical need, emotional need, psychological need, but what we really need to connect or bring that elements of the spirituality is in our life. Our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada says that, maybe anyone, some of you can read that. We have microphone, bro. We lost again.
Here it is, here it is.
Leave it away. Can we have microphone, is there?
Yes.
Working. Okay, can someone closer to this read this from our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada? Can we little loudly, just some of volunteer here? Yes, bro.
Every one of us is searching after happiness, but we do not know what real happiness is. We see so much advertised about happiness, but practically speaking, we see so few happy people. This is because so few people know what the platform of real happiness is beyond temporary things. It is the real happiness that is described in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna to Arjuna.
Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. 18.54 Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, we become very happy and satisfied when we actually connect to Bhagavad Gita. So this happiness is what actually Srila Prabhupada is saying, that when we connect to the spirituality. So the goal of this Gita course, or what we are saying, that to bring this positivity. At the beginning of the battlefield, Arjun was confused. And Arjun was not an ordinary personality, he was a Kshatriya, and from his hand the Gandhi was actually sleeping. And he was completely, so depression is not today's things. Even that time also depression was there. Arjuna was going, we may give a name as a depression, but he was going through that. But at the end of Bhagavad Gita, because initially Arjuna asked the question, what shall I do? And Bhagavad Gita, at the end of Bhagavad Gita 18.73, Arjuna says that Nastamo smurtir labda sthitosmi gata sandhya karishe vachanam tava. Oh Arjuna, Lord Krishna is saying, Arjuna is saying that karishe vachanam tava. Now I will do exactly what you are asking me to that. So at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita 2.7, where the Bhagavad Gita discussion between Krishna and Arjuna begins, and that is where he asks, what shall I do? And at the end of 18.73, he says that I will do. So you can see the transformation happened through Arjuna, is that what we actually expect if we follow the footstep of what Arjuna did that. Arjuna followed, he accepted what Krishna said, and he followed that, and he became a positive, enthusiastic. So we all are looking for enthusiastic, forbearing, divine consciousness. And of course, even in the most difficult and trying phases of our life, we all want that how we become positive, enthusiastic, forbearing, and having a divine consciousness. Not only when everything is going well. The real problem doesn't come when everything is going well, but when the difficult situation comes, the testing situation comes, the trying situation comes, and that is where actually we fail. The greatness of the personality can be evaluated not how we actually act in the normal situation. The greatness of the person can be evaluated when he is actually acting in a very trying situation. So, before we start from some of the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, we can see that what is this Bhagavad Gita's background. So we know that Dhritarashtra and Pandu Maharaj. So Dhritarashtra was the elder of the Kauravas, but by birth he was actually blind. And Pandu Maharaj was the junior of the, younger to him. But he by default, if you see our hierarchy system, the elder person by default become a king of that. But Dhritarashtra by birth he was actually blind, but Pandu became a king. And now how this actually started, this the battlefield, we know that once Pandu Maharaj actually went to on a hunting exercise, and then at that time he saw that there was a male and female things, and he actually shoot an arrow, and at that time they were in a union between the male and female, and the union was actually disturbed, and Pandu was actually cursed that on one particular day, just like we are actually broken for our union, if you are trying to be union with your wife, same day you will actually die. And we know that he had a similar day, and one fine day Pandu Maharaj left his body, and after Pandu retires, Kunti actually went to the forest. Pandavas, along with the Pandavas, Kunti and Madri gave her in a sati, so it was left with Kunti Maharani and all her 5 sons. And who are the 5 sons? Dharmaraj, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul and Sahadev. And Pandavas with the divine sons, with the help of Kuntis, they actually, and you know how this Kunti received these 5 sons, right? So she served Durvasa Muni, and you see, in Vedic culture, if you serve the great personalities, they give blessings, and their word become a true. So, and then death of Pandu, and finally Kunti returned with her 5 children back to the kingdom. And then what happened? Dhritarashtra, and ideally, of course, now Dhritarashtra is the elder, but he couldn't get a choice to become a king. Now he was expecting, at least I did not get a choice, at least my son will get a choice. Unfortunately, and who are the elder again between Dharmaraj and Duryodhan? Yudhishthir Maharaj was Dharmaraj was, again his chance was actually gone. So he had that need which was not fulfilled, and he was making so many evil plans so that he can kill or take these Pandavas away so that his son can become a king. And the whole Mahabharata is all about this discussion or the battle between Kauravas and Pandavas. So Yudhishthir, not only by age, he was a senior or elder, but he was actually senior or by great by his qualities. In Vedic culture, the greatness doesn't just come by age. Of course, there is a different ways that we can give a respect to the personality, and one of the criteria to give respect to the person is by age. But more important is that by qualities. So the good qualities, Dharmaraj has very good qualities, and he was much better than the Duryodhana. And of course, Dhritarashtra wanted his son to become the next king, and that the plan got halted, and that ensued the series of plots to kill the Pandavas. And we know that how many difficulties the Pandavas have gone through. That they were actually the first was the Bhima was actually administered the poison. He went to the Nagaloka and came back, and then their house was actually put onto the fire, and then Draupadi Panchali was tried to molest in the open assemblies. So all those things they had tried, and now the war was unavoidable, inevitable. So of course then they also played into the gambling and the 12 years of exile. So all the Pandavas were sent to the forest, the exile forest for 12 years. Not only the 12 years, there was one more year called as exile, Agyatavas, incognito. That means that they should not be identified anything. And if somebody during that 1 year of that incognito or Agyatavas, they have to again go another span of 12 years. And Lord Sri Krishna, many people say that if Lord wanted, he would have actually avoided the war between Kaurav and Pandav. Actually, Lord did that. He tried. He became the messenger, peace messenger between Kauravas and Pandavas. He said that, forget about giving the kingdom, at least give the 5 villages, 5 cities to Pandavas. They will be very happy. Because Pandavas by nature, they are Kshatriya, and Kshatriya's nature is to rule the Prajas. If they do not do their duty, they will not be satisfied. It is by nature the Kshatriya has to do that. So if you do not do that, it is not possible for them to sustain their life. You must give something. And what was the response from Duryodhana? Forget about the 5 cities or village. I cannot give even the land as much as the needle is actually needed. You can see how much he was envious of Pandavas. And now, finally, Kauravas are not ready to give the kingdom or even the 5 villages. Finally, the war is going to happen, and that is where is and Bhagavad Gita begins from there. And now Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, they are in palace, and the battle is about to happen in Kurukshetra, and Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya. So this is the first shloka, chapter 1, shloka number 1. And what is that shloka? Dhritarashtra uvacha. Please read it. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsava Mamaka Pandava Chaiva Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. So now Dhritarashtra, now you see, I like this always thing that people say that our Vedic culture, we do not have science. Sanjay, who is sitting in the palace, now is able to see what's happening into the battlefield. So that is something can give an idea of television. So we sit here and watch cricket match. So when TV came, the first thing that when I was a small child, so we used to go and watch cricket match. Oh, how we used to surprise that how match is happening on Australia, on Melbourne, India and Australia, and we are sitting in India and watching that. So here Sanjay is actually able to visualize what's happening on the battlefield. That means the science what was available to the Vedic culture was much better, much softer and much subtle, sukshma. Today we may have gross knowledge called technology, but what we have was much better and even subtle things. So Dhritarashtra Uvacha, the Dhritarashtra is asking, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Dharma means the place of, dharmic place. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. The Kurukshetra is not an ordinary place. It's a Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yutsava. my sons and the sons of Pandavas, they have assembled there. What are they going to do? Now this question is irrelevant. That is the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Because if somebody is going to now the Bharat versus Pakistan match is that, and Virat Kohli and maybe Saeed Anwar or whoever is that, they are going to win. Toss it. So if somebody goes, now what are going to do there? The answer, they are going to play match, right? So similarly, the question that Dhritarashtra is asking, he's saying that what my sons and the sons of Pandu are assembled at the place of pilgrimage known as Kurukshetra, what are going to do there? They are going to have the battle there. He was thinking that because the place is very dharmic place and the Pandavas are also very dharmic people, so because of that they will get influenced, they may think of not to have a fight, and if they do not have a fight, my sons will be victorious and my sons will become a king. So that was, even the last moment, Dhritarashtra has a hope against hope. He had a hope that my sons will somehow or the other they will win and become victorious. And that is where he had Mamaka Pandavas in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight. What did they do? So you can understand the anxiety Dhritarashtra was actually going through that, and hoping that Pandavas will give up and finally there will be no war. No war means my sons will be victorious and they can actually enjoy that. So we know that Arjuna was in a complete dilemma because he, until first chapter 16-17 shloka, it is just mentioned about the diplomacy of Duryodhana, and then Arjun is asking Krishna, "Oh my Lord, can you take my chariot between two armies?" And as soon as he, now who is the chariot driver for Arjun? Krishna. So that shows that Lord can take any position for his devotees. That's why he is also called as Bhakta Vatsala. Few years ago in India, so there were no cars, and if British people or some of the kings or they had a car, becoming a driver was not very good position. 5,000 years ago, our Lord became a chariot driver for his devotee. He can do anything. So Arjuna asked, "Oh Lord, can you take my chariot between the two armies?" And when Arjuna actually went in middle of the army, both the sides, he saw nothing but all his relatives, mama, uncle, cousins, gurus, Pitama, Bhishma, Krupacharya, Dronacharya, uncles, relatives, everybody. And he said, "How can I kill my relatives?" It is not, who are the Arjuna? He said that Arjuna is not some ordinary Tom, Dick and Harry. He was a great hero and who had actually endured positiveness in the face of all these trials. But he was actually got into the difficult things. And then what happened? And there was a discussion between Krishna and Arjuna. So at the end of first chapter, Arjuna gives so many reasons why he cannot fight. And Arjuna was not giving reason just because of www.google.com and find out the reason that he was giving the reason based on Dharma Shastra. And all those reasons were wonderful reasons. First reason that they give the 4 reasons in the chapter 1. And 5th reason he gives in the 2nd chapter. And then finally he surrendered to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The one reason that he gives that, "Oh Lord, why are you asking me to fight the war? Because if I engage into the war, the result is that I am going to kill these people. This is the sinful activity. Please do not engage me into that." Another reason that he gives that my gurus are there, my great elders are there, seniors are there. How can I do that? Another reason that Arjun gives that if I kill, if the battle happens and if I become a victorious, what is the use of that? Because my all relatives will not be there. So because today, that if we do something, immediately WhatsApp or somewhere we immediately post because we want to share that. So Arjuna was also thinking that if I become a victorious, with whom I can share these things. So and finally he says that if all the elderly people are killed, the women are not protected, and the women are not protected, it is going to cause the Varna Shankara progeny. So he gives all 4 reasons, and finally there is a and then 5th reason he gives in the 2nd chapter, and then finally he says that Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava pruchami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yasre shane chitam bruhi tanme shishyaste mam shadi mam tvam prapannam. So he says that now I am confused. about whether I should take left or I should take right. We always have a challenges in the material life, whether we should take this decision or that decision. So similarly, Arjun had also same challenges. And what did he do? Karpanya doshopahat. I'm not able to take a decision. Karpanya doshopahat svabhav. Pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. Now you please tell me for certain that whether I should do fight or I should not fight. What I am doing? Shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. Now I am taking a center of you. I am becoming your disciple. And now you please tell me for certain what should I do. And from there, earlier the discussion was like it was of two friends, Arjun and Krishna as like a friend, or as a warrior and his chariot driver. But at the end of at the beginning of the second chapter, shloka number 7, which we just recited 2.7, where the discussion is now changed, not only the friend to friend between the guru and Shishya, disciple. And that is where the whole Bhagavad Gita is about. From the discussion, Arjun asked the question, Lord Krishna answers the question, and one after the other, chapter 2, 3, 4, and Krishna gives a different topics. And finally, of course, 18.77, Arjun says that now I am ready for a battle. You ask me whatever you want, I will do that. And finally, Sanjay concludes with that 18.78. He says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanudhara Tatra Sri Vijaya Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mamaha. Wherever Krishna is there, wherever Arjuna is there, victory is sure, Niti is sure, opulence is sure, and that is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So with that, today we'll end here because the first session, and we have some practical tip as well. So after the practical tip, we'll see any questions or comments, and then we'll go for the further session. So after this, we have some practical tip every session, at the end of every session, and after that we'll have some question answer things, and then we'll have one round of together mantra meditation in a different words or chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then finally we'll have Arati followed by Prasadam. So what is the practical tip? It is from Bhagavad Gita chapter number 3rd. Maybe we will recite this shloka. Sayadnya pradnya sruštva Urovacha prajapati Anena prasavishya domesham Yesho vistava istakamaduka. So this comes in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, which is known as a Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So it is said that maybe some of you can read the translation.
The beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures
Send forth
generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices
for Vishnu
and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this
Yajna,
yajna,
sacrifice,
because its performance will
bestow upon
upon you everything
desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Kama Dhuka. So it is said that Lord Krishna is telling to Arjun that if you perform a yajna, sacrifice, it will actually bring happiness, prasavishya dham esham, and not only that, it will actually bring a liberation in our life. So this Bhagavad Gita is saying that yajna is actually meant for the happiness and liberation. Our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada in 1970s, there was a drought in Hyderabad, and one person sent letter to founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, there is a drought in Hyderabad, what should we do there? And Srila Prabhupada said that all we have to do is doing a yajna. Annat Bhagavad Gita says, Annat bhavati bhutani parjanyat anna sambhav. Yajnat bhavati parjanya yajna karma samudbhavam. So the anna comes from the parjanya. And when does the parjanya comes? Parjanya comes from the yajna. So yajna is a very basic necessity or the ingredients of the human form of life. Without yajna, the happiness and liberation is not possible. But now, what kind of yajna that is meant for the age of Kali? We will see that. Because for a different age of different things, there are different sacrifices is there. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a shloka कृते अध्यायतो विष्णु त्रेतायात यजतो मकय द्वापारे परिचार्यायां कलाउ तद हरिकीर्तनात् कृते अध्यायतो विष्णु. कृते means Satyuga. So Vedic life, Vedic time is in a cyclic, and the cycle begins from the Satyuga, then Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So in the Krute yet Dhyayato Vishnu, in the age of Satyuga, what was the way of liberation? What was the means of yajna? What was the means for the self-realization? And that is that Vishnu meditation. So if you see in our Puranas and Itihasas, if you see the stories that the sages will go to the forest or the seeker will go to the forest and thousands of years they will do the meditation, because that was meant for that age. Today we do not have thousands of years of lifespan. We do not have even the forest, and we do not have many things, and we cannot even sit. People like me will have back pain sitting for more than half an hour. So we cannot have all the ingredients. Krute dhyayato Vishnu. And in the age of Tretaya, ejato mukha. So in Treta Yuga, it was a fire sacrifice. And in Dwapare Paricharya, in Dwapar Yuga, it was a deity worship. And Kalautad Hari Kirtanan. Kala means Kaliva. Kalautad Hari Kirtanan. That means in this age of Kali, the yajna is meant for liberation is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So if you see here the previous shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Saha Yajna Praja, Sruštva Puro Vacha Prajapati. So what was the yajna that was being, Bhagavad Gita is actually recommending, and that yajna is actually nothing but chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you see that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Shorashaka Namanam, Kali Kalmasha Nashanam, Natah Parataro Upar, Sarvo Vedeshu Drushyate. It is said that Iti Shorashakam. Shorashakam means 16. These 16 names are 16 syllables composed of the 32 syllables, the 16 names. It is Shorashaka Namanam, Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. So to counteract the effect of Kali Yuga, these 16 names are enough. In all the Vedas, Natha Paratara Upaya, Sarvo Vedeshu Drushyate. In all the Vedas, we cannot find a mean to counteract the effect other than these 16 names. It comes into Kali Santaran Upanishad. And what are those 16 names? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Some of the great personalities that see you from Mofatlal groups, he says, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra help me face all the ups and downs in my life, which gives a great confidence and peace. This is the model from somewhere, I think Europe. She says that chanting helped me give up my bad habits and it changed my vision of things. N.D. Desai, this is another great industrialist. I have been chanting Hare Krishna for many years and I have never found anything more pleasurable. And then this is, I think, from Australia. Chanting makes me more perceptive, more in harmony with everything and everyone around me. So that is the end of our session. Now next few minutes we can have question answers or any comments, discussions. So we have time. I think we finished little early than our normal things. Any questions, comments? We are open. Okay. Who is the first person? Yes, ma'am.
I have one question. So you said like Arjun had 5 reasons, like because he was having doubts whether he should go in the war or not. So I understood the first two, that they were his brothers, relatives, then his gurus. Could you explain the part, the fourth one, when you were talking about the women?
Okay, women were not protected. So what he was in good question. So what he was asking that Arjun had given 4 reasons in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita that he did not want to fight a battle. and one of the reasons was that it will create a sinful reaction. How can I fight against my seniors and elders? And one of the reasons that he gives that the women are unprotected. So what happened? The reason that Arjun gives that, so when all the men they are going for battlefield, and if they are killed, the women are unprotected. And when the women are unprotected, the progeny, the next generation that come out of unprotected woman would actually called as Varna Shankara. Varna Shankara in Sanskrit they called as Varna Shankara. That means the next generation who have um, no culture, no education on the Vedic things. Though they are called as Varna Shankara. So that will actually beginning of the destructions of Vedic culture. So that was he was giving the reason that he does not want to become the cause of the destructions of the Vedic culture or the society that can actually live happily or prosperity will continue based on the Vedic culture.
And the fifth one is the state of mind, not any reason, right?
Confusion.
Ah,
That is in the second chapter it comes that
but
I'm not able to decide whether what is right, what is wrong, and that was the fifth
it is a
question.
mental state, not a right.
He gives the, I'm state of mind where he said that I'm not able to decide what is right and what is wrong, whether I should fight or I should abstain from fight. I'm not able to, indecision. That is called as indecision. So he was not able to decide that. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu. Your good name?
Guman Shankar.
Uma Shankar.
Guman.
Uma.
My question is because in this age we start thinking like we should like automatically inclined toward God and we should learn all those things whatever we are missing. But how we will draw the attention of our child because still they love Tom and Jerry, Peppa Pig kind of things. So how we will give attention to they can.
So Guman Shankar Prabhu's question is that it's okay about the Kali Yuga, but what about my next generation, right? We have once we had there is one apartment nearby Semarati College. In 2010 we started a shloka so that we engage all the kids into the shloka, and every parents were actually very inquisitive, so they were dropping their children and so that they can. So India by default we have seen that every parents want that their next generation should come to the Vedic culture, but the problem is that they want their next generation to come to the Bharat Sanskriti, Bharat culture, but not me. So what was happening, all the parents were dropping happily their kids and they were going for shopping. So we were becoming kind of a caretaker for them. We are okay that becoming caretaker as long as we are doing service to the society, that is fine. So it's like that we are watching a cricket match or movie and asking our son or daughter not to watch a movie. So if you see, the greatest example, the greatest guru or the idols for our next generation are the Mata and Pita. And if we as parents, if we actually don't do, but if you say theoretically, they know that if my father has a confidence and conviction that the scripture is the spirituality is that, why he is not doing? That means he is not convinced about that. And if he is not convinced, better I will also not do that. So what I actually come to the point that if I want my son or daughter to do that, first I should actually do that. If you want that our son and daughter should take that they should study, I sit next to them studying that, they will study automatically. If we watch movie and they say ask them to study, there is a hypocrisy. Hypocrisy means there is you are telling me something different and but you are doing something else. So we have to follow until 15 years at least they are with us. We have to set an example. And when we set a good example, definitely the children will actually do that. And this is the right time. Bhagavatam says that Prahlad Maharaj, he was actually Hiranyakashipu sent Prahlad Maharaj to his teacher, and then he came back and he asked what to do that. He said that what is the teaching that you got? He said that Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And he said that if we have to practice this God consciousness, then we have to start from the childhood. So this childhood is the start from the Balaka, which is the 5-year-old. If these sanskaras are made very deep in early age, you become confident that the next generation will at least become, we have confidence and faith that by the mercy of God, they become a wonderful thing. But if we do not teach them at the age of 5 or 6, later it becomes very, very difficult. So we have to practice. We set example, and then they will do that.
So related to this, can I share my experience?
Yes, please.
So Hare Krishna. In our family, it happened opposite. First, my son got into Goloka Caves. So he started reciting slokas, started doing puja. And like Prabhuji said, first my wife used to drop him and sit outside. Okay. Then slowly she started getting into Gita course. When both of them started practicing Krishna consciousness, I was the last to come. It started from my kid, then my wife, and then it came to me. And I'm repeating Gita course after 4 years again.
Hari
I was
Om.
left out.
Thank you very
Drop
much.
out. So I'm doing it again from scratch. So I think what Prabhuji said is like, kids are very fast to adopt. And I like first my wife felt that okay, I should also learn. I felt inferior that my kid and my wife are already into this, and I'm left out. So I left many bad habits like one way and this thing. After I saw that they are practicing. So I think it's almost 6-7 years I stopped. And so thing is that when one person in the family adopts,
Hare
then
Krishna.
automatically when one person in your family adopts, you see the positive changes. Suddenly, small kid who was like very arrogant, suddenly his the nature changed, the way he talks, the way he conducts himself changed. When my wife accepted Krishna consciousness, he started coming. Then our relationship become better. Then I adopted. Now there is a harmony actually, and it started from my kids. So I think they are the first to adopt, and they can adopt better than us because they don't think much, they don't judge things. We are having so many experiences already, always listening कि ऐसा होता है वैसा होता है ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. They don't doubt basically. So they accept properly. I think kids are the best. You can put the kids into this consciousness and they will adopt faster and they will inspire us. They inspired my kid, inspired me. So that is what I wanted to share, Prabhu. Thank you for that alone.
Hare Krishna. So we can see that even the reverse engineering also works. Whatever the way that we can do that, somehow or the other, we have to bring that elements of spirituality into our lifestyle, somehow or the other way, either this way or that way. Any other question? Yes, bro.
मैं बोल सकता हूँ, हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ क्या?
हाँ बोलिए प्रभु जी बोलिए.
मैं ये कह रहा था, जब मानव और पशु के संबंध में आप बता रहे थे कि दोनों का समान ही एक प्रकार से उनका है, कहा गया है, लेकिन मुख्य विशेष है मनुष्य में धर्म. तो क्या धर्म क्या है? व्हाट इज धर्म? क्या हमारा धर्म अलग है और किसी और आदमी का धर्म दूसरा हो सकता है, या स्त्री का धर्म अलग है, पुरुष का धर्म अलग है, गुरु का धर्म अलग है, या शिष्य का धर्म अलग है? क्या धर्म अलग है या एक ही है सबके लिए समान धर्म है? धर्म क्या है?
What is dharma? So Prabhu is asking, we are talking about
हिंदी
dharma.
बताइएगा तो मैं समझ पाऊंगा,
हिंदी में बता रहे
या संस्कृत में भी बता सकते हैं आप.
धर्मे ही न पशु भी समान. That was the shloka that we quoted from Ahara Nidra Bhaya Maithunam Cha. So प्रभु पूछ रहे हैं कि जैसे पशु और ह्यूमंस में सिमिलरिटीज है, बट पशु और नरा में एक डिफरेंस है, वो डिफरेंस है धर्म. तो आप धर्म के बारे मतलब धर्म क्या है, व्हाट इज धर्म? तो इसीलिए हमें पहले जो रिलीजन जो हम बोलते हैं, रिलीजन हमारे इंग्लिश में जो ट्रांसलेट किया, दैट्स नॉट द रियल कंसेप्ट. रिलीजन इज समथिंग फेथ. हमारा फेथ चेंज हो सकता है बट हमारा धर्म नहीं चेंज होता है. एंड व्हाट इज दैट आवर धर्म? हमारा धर्म क्या है? जीवेरे स्वरूप है कृष्णेर नित्य दास. दैट श्लोका दैट आई कोटेड 15.7 में, ममय अंश जीव लोके जीव भूत सनातना. जैसे चीनी होती है ना, चीनी का धर्म क्या है? स्वीटनेस. स्वीटनेस और चीनी अलग नहीं हो सकता है, राइट? पानी का धर्म होता है टू क्वेंच द थर्स्ट, मतलब जिसको प्यास लगी उसको पानी देना. तो उस पानी को हम उसके जो धर्म है उससे अलग नहीं कर सकते. वैसे ही ये जो लिविंग एंटिटी है उनका धर्म है सेवा करने का, और वो सेवा करने का है भगवान की सेवा करने का. और हमारे अलग अलग प्रकार के धर्म हो सकते हैं. एज अ ह्यूमन बींग्स, एज अ थिंग्स, वी मे हैव सम धर्म. As a father, you have father dharma. As a purusha, you have something. As a mataji, they have dharma. But the supreme dharma, the parama dharma, कि हम भगवान की सेवा में लगा जाए. That cannot be taken. Whether हम यहाँ से करें, वहाँ से करें, कहीं से भी करें. So हमारा जो परम धर्म है, इसलिए भागवतम में कहते हैं सवै पुंसा परो धर्म यथोर भक्ते अधोक्षजे अहितुकी अप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसिद्ध थी। सवै पुंसा परो धर्म, पुंसा means the living entities, सवै पुंसा for all the living entities, paro dharma, para means supreme, para means supreme, सवै पुंसा paro dharma yathor bhakti adhokshaje, adhokshaje means the supreme lord, मतलब जो हमारे जो भौतिक इंद्रिय है उससे हम देख नहीं सकते, वो भौतिक संसार के परे है, उनको कहा जाता है अधोक्षजे। अधोक्षजे मीन्स सुप्रीम लॉर्ड कृष्णा। सवै पुंसा परो धर्मो यथोर भक्ति अधोक्षजे, एंड दैट इज द धर्म ऑफ ऑल लिविंग एंटिटी। मतलब सब लिविंग एंटिटी का धर्म क्या है? भगवान की भक्ति करना। उसके अंदर हम मतलब हमें अभी ये भौतिक देह मिला है, देह की भी हमें थोड़ी कुछ ड्यूटी होगी, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी, एज अ फादर भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी, एज अ एम्प्लॉयर विल भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी। बट ये सब धर्म करते करते पर धर्म है कि भगवान की सेवा कर। अगर हमने सिर्फ अपने जो इस भौतिक संसार में जो धर्म है उसका पालन किया, बट वी फॉरगॉट द सुप्रीम पर धर्म, ऑपरेशन सक्सेसफुल पेशेंट डेड, दैट विल बी आवर सिचुएशन। तो पर धर्म है भगवान की सेवा कर, वो किसी भी हम किसी पाथ पे हो, किसी धर्म के हो, मतलब जो टुडे हम जो धर्म बोलते हैं, इस धर्म हो, हिंदू धर्म हो, वो धर्म, एनीबडी, बट फाइनल कंक्लूजन ऑफ एवरीथिंग कि हम भगवान की परो धर्म भक्ति अधोक्षजे। जब तक ये परो धर्म नहीं याद करते वो धर्म वी कैन नॉट टेक अवे, वो हमारे लिविंग एंटिटी से हम निकाल नहीं सकते। जो परो धर्म कुछ भी करें हम, वो धर्म अंदर ही रहेगा। बाकी हम कुछ भी करें आउटसाइड, हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, एज अ फादर, एज अ मदर, एज अ टीचर, एज अ थिंग्स, एज अ टीचर, एज अ शिष्य, वी कैन डू दैट, धर्म इज देयर। बट उसके ऊपर पर धर्म है भगवान की सेवा, भगवान का नाम, भगवान की पूजा, आराधना।
The next following question.
Yes.
Who is God? As it continues that most of the people says on each living entity God will be there. So the seva which you mentioned to be served, so that should be for each individual entity, right?
As I told, your question is that Manav seva better than Madhav seva, something like that.
Something but not exactly.
Not exactly but similar. So now अभी हमने जो डिस्कस किया, व्हाट वी जस्ट डिस्कस नाउ, द लिविंग एंटिटी इज पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ कृष्णा। ममे हमसे जीव लौकिक जीव भूत सनातन। सो इफ यू सर्व लिविंग एंटिटीज, बट इफ यू फॉरगेट दैट पर्सन फ्रॉम whom everything is coming, then we are actually having the horizontal relation but cutting the vertical relation. Now who is that person? It is said sarvasya chaham, Bhagavad Gita 15.15, sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto matah smurti jnanam, sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto, I am situated in every living entity's heart. So there is a Paramatma in every living entity's heart, and that Paramatma is what we are actually talking about. We serve Paramatma by serving the people, but we do not disconnect that we disconnect that and we take independently serving the Manav Seva. No, Manav Seva is as long as it is good, it is connected with the Madhav Seva. If we just do the Manav Seva and no Madhav Seva, it has not much. It is like giving a person, somebody is hungry, giving him a food for one time, but if you teach him how to earn the food, which is much better than like this. So similarly, giving him the final ultimate objective, which is connecting the Supreme Lord, which is much better than just giving the food for one time. So now who is that Supreme Lord? We will see actually in the discourses, but we have one reference, and our reference comes from the scripture. So our reference scripture is what today we are discussing about Bhagavad Gita, and that is where we started with Bhagavad Gita. This is coming from Bhagavan, and who is a Bhagavan? Bhagavan, there is Gunavan. Gunavan matlab who has quality. Dhanavan, Dhanavan, and then Gunavan, Dhanavan, and then there is a Bhagavan. Now who is a Bhagavan? The person who possesses Bhagat. And what are these Bhagat? Opulences unlimited. And what are the 6 opulences? The person who possesses, he is called as Bhagavan. And who is that? What are the 6 opulences? First is knowledge. Person who possesses unlimited jnana, that person is called as Bhagavan. And how do you know who has unlimited knowledge? We had a Bhagavad Gita, and this Bhagavad Gita has given 5,000 years ago. Have you ever You know, right? 5250 we celebrated the birthday of our dear Lord Sri Krishna. So 5000 years ago, this Bhagavad Gita was given. Even today, people are going through Bhagavad Gita and trying to understand the knowledge. And by the way, you know how long this discussion happened actually? Battlefield? 45 to 1 hour, approximately 1 hour. Even after 5000 years, people are going deep into Bhagavad Gita and trying to understand. Still, we cannot go to the depth of that. And who has given that knowledge? Krishna. So the knowledge is covered there. And if you see, when we have our friend with us, it comes with the version 10 or 15. Then next year, some more features and more things, bugs are fixed, all those things. Have you ever heard Bhagavad Gita 1.1, Bhagavad Gita 2.0, Bhagavad Gita 3.0? Bhagavad Gita is the same Bhagavad Gita yesterday, same Bhagavad Gita today, and the same Bhagavad Gita tomorrow. And the second thing about that person who possesses the 6 opulences, first is the Jnana, then next is a Yesha. Yesha means famous. After 5000 years, many people are coming to his birthday and celebrating. Why? He is very famous. If you see any part, if you go to the history, there are many people, they were very famous at that time, but today they may not be famous. But our dear Lord is famous even after. And this is just one thing. He is there for millions of eternity. He is there. So Jnana, then fame, Balaha, strength. When he was just a small child, he lifted Govardhan for 7 days and 7 nights. This is the photo of Govardhan. 7 days and 7 nights. And on how did he lift? On his left hand. If you are righty, then you can see your left hand is weak. And among the 5 fingers, this little finger is the weakest. And he lifted Govardhan for 7 days and 7 nights. And all the Brajavasis, they were very happy and they were thinking, oh, my Lord will be very tired. And they were bringing the stick and holding on the stick as if that they are supporting Krishna. So next is a Bala. So and then next is a beauty. Krishna, the name comes from the person who is very attractive. Krishna iti akarsiti. So even today you see they're so beautiful. As soon as people come, they say that the best thing that I like in your ISKCON temples is the beauty of the Lord. Lord is very beautiful. As soon as we see him, he attracts our. It's a Madana Mohan. Madana Mohan. He's called as a Madana Mohana. Madana Mohana, the Cupid who attracts the people, but he's the attractor of all the Cupids. He's called Madana Mohan Krishna. So he's very beautiful. And renunciation. Renunciation, when some 5000 years ago he had so much of wealth, knowledge, everything, but he still became a chariot driver. Can you imagine somebody who is very knowledgeable, who has all the wealth, he is the controller and enjoyer, and still he can become a chariot driver? Is it possible? If I just become some graduate from some college and said, if you ask me to become chariot driver, no way. Imagine the Supreme Lord becoming chariot. That means he is detached. In a Bhagavatam 10th canto, when the rasa dance was going into the Ras dance, the next moment he disappeared. He was not attached to anything, and the gopis were running behind him. So Krishna is not attached. He is renounced. At any moment he can actually. So we saw Jnana, knowledge, Yesh, then Bala, the beauty, and then renunciation, and then detachment. That is the renunciation. So and opulence. And everything that in this material world belongs to him. Richness, he is very rich. And how do you know he is rich? Today somebody say I am a rich, but I may be owner of some property in Bangalore, but I cannot claim I am the proprietor of the whole world and all the universes. But our dear Lord claims that. Aham sarvasya prabho 10.8 Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarva pravartate iti mata bhajanti mam buddha bhava samad. Aham sarva pravartate. I am the source of whole material world. I am the source of all the spiritual world. So if you see, some of us may be knowledgeable, some of may be powerful for some time, but not all the time and all the knowledge. And that person who possesses all these 6 opulences, unlimited, that person is called as Bhagavan. And that is what we are talking about. That person who is the Supreme Lord. That answers your question. Who is that Bhagavan? Okay. I think we are close to.
One last one.
Yes, Mataji.
So, you said about of seva. How do we do that? How do we serve the God?
So, and that is where we come to this. If you see that this Kalautad Hari Kirtana, Kalautad Hari Kirtana, if you see this Sanskrit here, this shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, are you able to see here? Kalautad Hari Kirtana. Kirtana. So we should engage in the service of Krishna. And what is the best service in this age of Kali? Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalayo Nasteo, Nasteo, Nasteo Gatir Anyata. In this age of Kali, there is no better way of serving Krishna than Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama. 3 times it is said into that Upanishad. Because in this age of Kali, we are very short memory and not intelligent. So we have to tell 3 times. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam. Kevalam means only. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam. Kalav Nasteo, 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 Gatir Anyata. There is no other Gati, there is no other Gati, there is no other Gati than the chanting of Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama in this age of Kali. So if you want to serve Hari in this age of Kali, the best way of serving Hari, Madhav, Vishnu, Gopal by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you see our founder Acharya, he went to the United States. How did he spread this Bhagavad Dharma? Only by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you go to Tompkins Square Park in New York, first time outside of India, anything if somebody has done, the first of its kind was the public kirtan was done in US, outside of India, 1966 in New York. Search for Tompkins Square Park. Under the tree of that tree, now there is a big plaque. It is said that Hare Krishna movement was actually born under this tree. And how it was born? Srila Prabhupada went there, and what did he do? He just started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now if you see that our volunteers would have given you the Japa Mala, and we all going to do together one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because this is the bread and butter for all of us in chanting. So we give some tools and techniques so that once we go home, you can actually chant this one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You try for 1 month, just like a marketing people, we also promise that definitely it will help you. And if it does not help, there is no loss in that. All we have to spend is every day 6 to 7 minutes for one round. If it works, it's a bonus. If you just leave it, there is no loss for that. Try it, and I am very sure and confident that it will work for you. All you have to do is that chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then we have mala. So our volunteers are giving. So we will chant on each mala. So we will use our right hand between the middle finger and the thumb, and starting from the this main beat, we will start chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we pull towards ourselves, and then we continue chanting 108 times of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And what we will do once the volunteers are done their services. Meanwhile, any questions or comments how to do that? So we can chant in a sacred place. Mala is very sacred, pavitra. We don't put on the ground, and we chant together this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Anji.
He is saying 18 minutes, so what is the course content?
What is that?
Course content.
Course content, eh? Okay. So what we are discussing Gita course, right? Gita course, we are giving the practical tips and steps. How do we apply the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita into our daily life? And today we started from the battlefield, the context and the background of that. And to summarize, we saw that the living entities are looking for the happiness. That is what we are looking. That's why we all are here, spending your valuable time, and that too Sunday evening, and that too in ACS layout, where there are n number of opportunities to enjoy money. But still you are here. Why? Because there is something that we are looking for that. And we saw that in the due course of time, we try to fulfill our needs, we become happy. We saw that physical need, psychological need, and emotional need. But there is something more than that, and that is called as emotional need. Sorry, the spiritual need. And we have to bring that spiritual need. And how do we know that what is the spiritual need? So we have to connect to the book called as Bhagavad Gita. And from the Bhagavad Gita, we understood the context that how the war was inevitable and war was about to happen. And at that time, Lord Krishna and Arjun, the conversation, the dialogues is samvad between Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Arjun is Bhagavad Gita. And today we discuss the shloka number 1.1, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Dharma Kshatriya Kurukshetra Samaveda and so on. And then we discuss about what is the dharma of living entities in this age of Kali. And we answered that the dharma of living entity is to, especially in this age of Kali, is Kalautad Hari Kirtana, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is some quick synopsis for you. If you need more detail, we can discuss after the session. So, are we ready for that chanting? So now, when we start chanting, our mind will come into action. And what will happen? Mind will give so many reasons, so many things. ये लोग कितना देर तक हमें नहीं छोड़ेंगे, प्रसाद मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, उधर तो रसगुल्ला दिखा रहे थे, रसगुल्ला देंगे कि नहीं देंगे, इनको दीजिए तो माला दीजिए, केवल माला, गुलाब जामुन मिलेगा कि नहीं, राइस मिलेगा, अन्नम चित्रान्न मिलेगा कि नहीं, चटनी मिलेगा, सब मिलेगा, don't worry, forget everything. All Bangalore will be as it is, ACS lab will be as it is, our house will be as it is. If you see data science, one of the things that you take the information and the sensor is the what we connect the data, and the best sensor for all of us is our eye, right? So let's close our eye for next 10 to 15 minutes and focus on chanting the name of Lord Hari and hearing the name of Lord Hari. And then after that we'll ask few of volunteers. So there will be quiz that how was your experience chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If your body permits, try to sit straight, focus on the name of Lord Hari, and if mind goes somewhere, let's bring back again on the chanting of Lord Hari. Mind will go to different places, but please bring that. And when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is a call, is a prayer, and the prayer is from bottom of our heart. When we are doing the prayers, it is not just a simply name, it is Hare Nam Mahamantra, is the holy name of Lord Sri Krishna. It is said that Abhinnatva Nama Namino. Abhinnatva Nama Namino. There is no difference between Nama and Namina. In this material world, now if I am thirsty and if I say water, 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 my thirst will not be quenched. But I have to take the object water and drink it, then my thirst will be quenched. So that means there is the name water and the object water, they are different. But in the spiritual world, name Krishna and Bhagavan Sri Krishna, they are same. And that is where you see in our Bharatiya culture, Sanskriti, that we keep the names of people like Vasudev, then Gopal, then Madan Mohan. Why? Because we call them by this name, so we get habituated to chant the name of Lord Hari. So that was the culture. Our culture was the best, is the best culture, but somehow we are forgetting. So we have to bring back the Vedic culture of all those things. So we'll start chanting. So the name and Krishna, they are not different. Abhinnatva Nama Namin. Just like sometimes when we say, oh my, and we call mother, right? If something, oh my mother or ma. But similarly we call Krishna. And Krishna will be present. When we are chanting the name of Krishna, Krishna is dancing on our tongue. So let's close our eyes. Try to sit straight, and we'll try to do in one pace together, so that there is no anxiety to finish fast or slow, and we are together. If you miss it, join us together. So we'll offer our prayers to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Close our eyes. We're ready to take up, not to get sleep mode, but really focus on the Lord Hari's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.